marketing for HBO's Big Little Lies depicted a show about catty moms being bitches to each other.
She's a mom, just young. Like you used to be?
Like we used to be? Bitch.
This series starts by setting the expectation for its viewer that the mom's suburban drama is so extreme that it leads to one mom murdering another. Uninformed outside perspectives create this expectation through police interviews that make broad statements about the women involved.
Madeline had was a nose for everybody else's business.
Oh my God.
Believe me, I know.
Although, to be fair, there is a lot of cattiness between these moms.
Gabby is such a gossip, we don't like it.
Do not fuck with my daughter's birthday.
Oh, I love this.
Oh, thank you. I made it in Peru.
Of course you did.
Mama Bella passed out her invitations on Wednesday morning.
Madeline was on the phone inviting the kids to Disney on Ice by Thursday noon.
The two events were scheduled for the same day. I don't know what's wrong with this woman. It's like she's power hungry. She can't just let us all get along. I said thank you!
However, Big Little Lies subverts its tropes and instead tells a heartfelt story about female friendship and love. The final episode is the epitome of women looking out for other women. Big Little Lies strongly believes that in the face of male violence, women band together to protect one another, no matter how they may personally feel about each other. There were some reviewers that found it unlikely that these women would know that Perry, played by Alexander Skarsgård, is abusive or a rapist without being told directly. They also found Bonnie's motivations unclear in the show as compared with the book. One review I found was titled, "Big Little Lies Finale, That Puzzling Ending Explained," feeling the need to fill in the exposition just because it was never said out loud on the show. Another reviewer expressed a doubt in Bonnie's motivation, saying, "Perry didn't fall, he was pushed down the stairs in a fit of rage by Zoe Kravitz Bonnie. Serene, beautiful, crunchy Earth Mother Bonnie, yoga teacher, and cool stepmom extraordinaire." Wait, what? As is usually the case with these types of things, it makes sense if you've read the book. Sort of. Bonnie's bloodlust comes basically out of nowhere in Moriarty's novel, just as it does in the TV series. What these reviewers don't understand is the way that women communicate and why they do it. The societal pressure on women to remain silent has led to the development of a sort of sub-language for women, a form of communication female-identified people have developed to protect each other. Glances exchanged between women on the train when a man is sitting just a little too close, between women on the street after being catcalled, between girls in the classroom when a boy says something sexist. It's a universal silent language that women have to look out for one another. The women of Big Little Lies communicate in the finale using the secret language of womanhood. Without any dialogue at all, the viewer is brought to understand everything. We see Jane, played by Shailene Woodley, recognize her rapist. We see Madeline and Celeste, played by Reese Witherspoon and Nicole Kidman, connect the dots. And earlier we saw Bonnie recognizing how dangerous Perry is. Renata, played by Laura Dern, who has been the enemy of these women for so long, pieces together that something is wrong. It's all shown through their use of silent communication. Additionally, Bonnie's actions don't need the book's backstory to make sense. Any woman understands the threat of violent men and will protect other women from it. It's part of the silent code, like pretending to be old friends with a girl that's a total stranger to scare off a man harassing her. Through having the characters communicate through this sub-language with the purpose of protecting one another, Big Little Lies creates an incredibly realistic scene of women protecting other women. With no dialogue at all, visuals communicate the reveal of Perry being Jane's rapist. We have seen this shot countless times, telling the story of Jane's trauma, and having her rapist turn around to be Perry in the dream tells the viewer all that they need to know. The visual parallel of Jane pointing her gun at her rapist in the dream and in real life at Perry further clarifies to the viewer the reveal. Additionally, the sound of waves throughout this sequence subtly lets the viewer know that Jane imagines the gun in real life. She's still dreaming of the beach. When the dream is over, the waves sounds stop, revealing that Jane does not have a gun. We feel and see her powerlessness, which Madeline and Celeste also notice. The scene following this revelation is silent. No one says a word. The lack of dialogue emphasizes silent communication. The viewer is forced to decipher the female language. All that the viewer hears is the distant sounds of the party. The camera shakes as it holds close-ups and medium shots of the women, destabilizing the viewer's world, creating the feeling of tension and anxiety that a woman feels in the presence of violent masculinity. This shaking is the only camera movement, leaving the majority of the job of communication to the actors. Watch how the women glance at one another, noticing the fear and pain of other women, and how they look at Perry, showing that they have made the connection between Jane's pain and Perry as the one who inflicted it. This is the look of a man who does not know the female secret code, but understands enough that he decides to lash out. With each hit that Perry lands on one of the women, there are these non-diegetic inserts of waves crashing. The beach and sounds of waves have been shown to be tied directly to Jane's trauma, making these waves a visual symbol of male violence, specifically Perry's violence. They crash and crash as Perry beats and beats at Celeste. Notice how the waves shown after Bonnie pushes Perry are calm, being observed by a future Bonnie and Celeste. These two women sit together, observing a calm version of a symbol for male violence, showing that they are no longer overpowered or afraid of Perry's violence. These women are stronger together. This solidarity continues past the night of the murder. They lie to protect Bonnie from being convicted of killing Perry.
To kick me again, and I think that's when he must have taken a step back and he fell.
This speaks even further to this show's ideology that womanhood bonds women together through hardship. If Big Little Lies was just the catty drama that the ads promised, there might have been a whole plot about one of them selling Bonnie out. However, their solidarity is sure. The viewer does not even question that every single one of these women is going to look out for one another. This is also silently communicated through the many silent police interviews and the lack of dialogue on the beach. We just see the affection as they play with their children, looking to the future, able to be in the place that represents trauma because they are together. Although the trauma of the events may linger, Perry no longer holds power over them. This show's focus is that through all the meaningless drama and fights between them all, women protect each other and are stronger for it.